It's okay. Do you hear me? Yasha, do you hear me? Yasha, do you hear me? Chú này không có nghe. Chú Yasha, chú đâu nghe tiếng Pháp. Chú quay phim mà. Yasha, do you hear me? It's okay. But in this side you hear all. It's about it, the Latin about it. Listen to the translation or not? No? He listen directly in Vietnamese. You listen in English and Vietnamese. It's about it around the young mountain, young mountain. I don't see him. Dear Sangha, today is the 2nd of December 2012. We are at the full moon meditation hall at the New Hamlet during our winter retreat. Every morning, after the sitting meditation and the practice, everyone try to read a sentence saying that we try to walk mindfully. We are requested to walk without speaking and without thinking. We dwell deeply in every step and in the present moment. Because if you start to speak and you start to think, and then the quality of your step will not be clear. And then so you are requested to hold your body and your mind and your speech, concentrate on every step. And that step will have a lot of concentration and powerful concentration and help you to stop on the turbulence of your body and your mind and nourish you and heal you. You don't speak during your walk is not enough. You have to stop thinking too. And the happiness will be greater if we can be in touch with what is positive, wonderful in this very present moment at every step. To be in touch in such a way is brought you to a joy, a wisdom that you are alive, you are present with all the wonders of life, and there are joy, there are peace, there are happiness, there are peace. And every step brings you happiness, peace, and that will nourish you and heal you. Even when you do sitting meditation, try not to think. Because when you start to think, you will pull away from the concentration of the present moment. And then you are pulled away by your idea and other idea, and then you are carried away of all the wonders of life. And you have to be present with your body, be present with your perception, your mental formation, and your consciousness. And it means be totally with your present moment, calm down, stilling your body, stilling your mind, and then make them in peace. And this walking meditation is also a moment of healing. And then we arrive to what we call the joy of the happiness of the practice. Thiền dự kỳ thực, we have to use the joy and the happiness of the practice as a food, as your own food. And if you practice and you don't feel that joy, that happiness, is no use to practice. When we speak like that, it doesn't mean that we have we are not allowed to think. Yesterday, there is one sister told me that there is so many things for me to think, and then you don't allow me to think how I can resolve my difficulty. But according to the practice of stilling, and then if you have a right view, the right view and the right thinking will be, right thinking will bring you the insight. But 90% of your thinking is only heretic. It means wrong thinking. And more you think, more you bring you around like a kind of untangled net. And then so that right thinking must have concentration, was a name in deeply in the present moment, and then concentration in the present moment, and then you get the insight. So if during the day you entrust your problem to your store consciousness, dear store consciousness, I have some of these problems. Please find for me a solution, and then you leave the store consciousness, you entrust to the store consciousness your work. And so like you put a seed in your good land, and then you try to take care only about the softness, the wet, gentle wet, etc. for the seed to be sprouted. And so your thinking is not the land, it's your store consciousness is the land. Your thinking is only the hand who stirs, not helpful. So when you sow the seed of your research for finding a wise solution, you entrust to the store consciousness, but you practice walking meditation in the present moment, sitting meditation, eating meditation, working meditation in the present moment, and the store consciousness take good care. And one day, the store consciousness found a solution, is pop up, and then you can see. So leave the store consciousness the responsibility to find solution for you. And you have to practice in such a way. That is the Zen way. The practice the Buddha teaches. You entrust your question, your eagerness to understand that problem to your store consciousness. And in that store consciousness there is many wisdom of many generations of your ancestor or your beloved friend, and then they there. And then one day when the stillness is there on your mind consciousness, and then the store consciousness will show you the way. That is enlightenment. Enlightenment of this very problem, the very difficulty. We said about the fourth kind of food, the fourth kind of nutriment is a collective collective food. It means thức thực. It means the fourth kind of food for your consciousness. And so that is the environment have so many things. And so in your consciousness, there is particular consciousness and the collective consciousness. Collective consciousness is made of your individual consciousness and also, and so the internet is also a kind of collective consciousness. So your consciousness, in your store consciousness, there are everything. There are particular consciousness, your individual consciousness, and also the collective consciousness. So in your store consciousness, there are both. There are individual consciousness and collective consciousness. It means that all the input from the outside, from the environment, and also from your deep lineage of your ancestor too. So in your consciousness food, there are many healthy food, but there's also many dangerous, intoxicating food. So in collective consciousness, there are many intoxication. Like there is a big crowd where people are shouting each other, quarreling, and unkind to each other. That is a kind of intoxication where we enter into your store consciousness. Even you say that, oh, I'm not like them, but it's enter anyway. Even you don't feel at ease with them, but they will enter in you anyway. And they stay. So if you stay in the crowd where there's a lot of hate, violence, abuse, and then it's entering you anyway. That is kind of the fourth nutriment, the fourth food. So the physician Pham Duy, a very famous physician in Vietnam, when he get old, he went to Vietnam. He requested to go back to Vietnam. And somebody said that, oh, you live in United States, you have all the comfort. You have every kind of food, every freedom to do what you want. It's also the hospital is the best hospital. The food is the best food. You can buy every kind of food in the world. On the musical instrument you can find here in the United States. Why you have to request to go back to Vietnam? And he wants to spend his last year in Vietnam. And the musician cannot answer. But one day a very intimate friends, very close to him, and he answered that in United States there is everything. However, the community of Vietnamese living there, there's a lot of anger and violence. They come to visit me, they tell many bad things against each other, and so it makes me almost sick. So I don't want to bring all this food to my when I die. So I don't want to go there. So I want to put on this bad quarreling, unkind thing to put on earth. And so I try to find in Vietnam a place where nobody speak about killing each other or telling bad things to each other. And so I go back to Vietnam. I don't have to hear all this quarreling of these anti-communist people in United States. And so in Vietnam now, with my old age, I don't have any hate, nobody hate. So like in Plum Village, nobody tell bad thing to each other. And every day we think in which way we can help this person, other person, or this family, or even our own family, how we can help them to be better, and so on. So each of us have a number of poison in our store consciousness. Don't say that you don't have poisonous seed. You also have a lot of seed of hatred, violence, hell, animal, and ghosts, and everything is in you. They are in you. But because if you live in a good environment, nobody water on this bad seed in you, and more the good seed in you will water more good seed. But if somebody water that seed in you, the seed of a pig, a seed of all the horrible animal in you, there is violent ghost in you, and if somebody come and water that, and then you behave like a very violent person, because you are what you ingest in your store consciousness. And so more you think, more you are angry, you think more in way you can punish, and so on. And so in our store consciousness there are God is mean God, Bodhisattva, Asura. Asura is a world where people are very angry. Hell. Sukshan is an animal. Hell, ngạ quỷ, it means a hungry ghost. And Sukshan, animal. Thanh it means Thanh is those who listen to the Dharma talk. And then Bodhisattva and Buddha. So why don't you push on your 31st mind the Buddha or Bodhisattva, but why you push the not on Asura or animal and so on? There is also the kind of animal called a ruminant. It means you chew it again. You chew it again. You have some sadness, some suffering in the past. You have been abused. You have been abused physically or sexually, and it's bare in your store consciousness. And when you are alone, and then you bring that seed out, and then you chew it again, and then you are angry again, and you want to retaliate, and so on. So on these things, don't behave like a ruminant. It means the animal who chew it again, chew it again. So the cow or the buffalo, when they swallow a lot of grass and they put somewhere, and then when they are more quiet, and then they bring out and they chew and they chew. That we call a chewable new animal. But we are all like that. We chew our suffering. We chew what they reproach you. You chew that abuse you when you are a child, when they abuse you, when you are physical abuse or sexually abused, you chew it every day. You behave like that ox or that buffalo who chew again their food, but it's intoxicate food. And more you chew, more you chew, more you are desperate. And so please don't behave like a ruminant. I don't know if it's English word, but this means chew it again all the time. It's not good for your health. It's not very healthy. And so you have to stay in the good environment. And the practitioner remind you, please, don't chew it again. What you are chewing, what you are thinking, it means that you are chewing your suffering, your being abused. Some English people say that, give me a penny for your thought. It means that because you see that friend of you who are chewing something of his suffering. And so being in the Sangha help you not to fall down in that suffering that you chew it again and again and again. And your thinking is always showing the suffering, the difficulty, the unwholesome experience. And more you think, more you feel desperate, and you are desperate, and you have depression, and you want to have exhaust, and you want to remove your life, kill yourself, or do something. But live in the present moment. Try to touch what is positive in the present moment. You can see what is wonderful. And then it nourishes you. And when it nourishes you, and it heals you. So if you live in the present moment, you walk, you are happy. You sit, you are happy. Eating, you are happy. And you stop thinking. You enjoy the present moment. When the present moment is not very the liking food you like, but look deeper. You see a lot of love, a lot of care for those who cook, and then you feel happy too. So in our Hamlet, maybe in our Hamlet, when we read 5 contemplation, And we say that, please eat your food, don't chew again all this thinking of bad things. And so usually we think around the same. And when I say like that, it doesn't mean that I want you to suppress that thinking. There is a way to stop that thinking without being violent to your thinking. You pay only attention to your in breath and pay attention totally with your out breath and in breath, and then you open your eyes. What is in front of you? What is wonderful in front of you? And then you live in the present moment. Maybe something it's not pleasant, some big head in front of you, you cannot see anything, but you turn, but you see the positive thing, and then you also, and so sometimes you sit there and you look at the moon is so full, so round, and then, thank you, the moon, I know that the moon is there for me, I am there also for the moon, and then you stop thinking. You don't need to suppress your thinking, you only pay attention to what happened in the present moment. Look deeper, enjoy what is wonderful in that present moment. And so when you do cooking, you do chopping vegetable, helping the brother and sister, and when you brush your teeth, please dwell in the present moment. Don't suppress your thinking, but you go back to the present moment, enjoy what happened in the present moment. That toothbrush, that toothpaste, that good water, that good environment. And so you are consuming the present moment is healthier than the things in the past that you chew. So now we go to the sutra. It's a general sharing. Now we go to the sutra. In winter retreat, we learn the sutra a lot, but Thay always shows a short sutra, but rarely, many other masters rarely use this sutra, but it's very profound and very up-to-date for our society. The sutra trong chợ trời phương ngoại, it means enjoying the space, outer space. Enjoying the space, outer space. The space, outer space, it means it's the same space, but you overcome all these little things in order to touch the freedom in this very present moment, and that we call outer space. So we have the Kinh Niết Bàn. Không phải nó kể thứ 13, kinh gì? Kinh gì? Hả? Không phải, thầy mới nói sao đây? Kinh Niết Bàn. That sutra, enjoying the space outside space, outer space, is called also from time to time Sutra of Nirvana. Ho Thach Hanh is Sino-Vietnamese. You pronounce the Chinese word, but I don't understand. And we need Thay to translate. But That sutra is the Gatha number 13. If you find out, that sutra has been the Gatha number 13. That is Gatha number 13. So Thay will explain, I think. Have you seen that 3 word hữu? It means becoming, or existence. Hữu, sometimes they translate by existence, sometimes by becoming. And then there is 4 word becoming or existence, and 4 word nothing. The meaning is dear bhikkhu. This is a sutra giving to the bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, who in life there is the becoming, the birth. There is the existence. There is formation. There is a birth. There is the becoming, the action, sometimes the action, and the formation. Formation is things which make with many elements of. So there is. So having.
Monks, bhikshus. In the world there is things that are born,
things
that exist, that
existence.
There are things that are doing things, and there are things that are
composing. So monks, there are things that exist.
There is the born.
There is thing which is born. There's thing that does exist. These things is becoming. And there's thing the doing. And there are things who is composed, formation. Formation is things which make of many composition. Formation is one thing that's make with many composition. So there is composing. So monk, there are things which is born, things which is exist, things which is becoming, things what is composing. Sahan is samskara. The Sanskrit word is samskara. Samskara usually they have been translated by formation. Sometimes they were translated by composed thing, or conditioned thing. Thing. Dharma. Condition Dharma. So the word formation, samskara. Samskara is the coming of many elements called flower. So flower is a formation because it's made of with rain, sunshine, earth, gardener, etc. So many components come together to make one thing is called flower. Or many other components make one thing called human beings, or to call it trees, to call it everything is. So they call Han. Formation is a composed thing. So that thing, there are many conditions, there are many compositions. So in our life, there are phenomena like that we call formation. The word formation is excellent for me. Composition is okay too. But the word in this place, this formation, samskara, could be written like samskara. Sometimes it has been written samskrita, not samskara. So samskrita have been translated by huvi. Huvi means conditioned things. Condition. Ed at the end. Conditioned things. That is opposite to unconditioned. Bovi, unconditioned things. So huvi, it means a conditioned Dharma. Dharma is things. The Dharma with the capital means the teaching of the Buddha, but Dharma with the minuscule is thing. So they are coming together with many elements in order to make that. So they call Samskrita. Paphuvi. Conditioned Dharma. But Nirvana is unconditioned things, unconditioned Dharma. It means they are not coming from many other elements. Nirvana is unconditioned Dharma. They call Vo Vi. Vo is no. And so all these Dharma are conditioned Dharma. But Samskrita translate as form. Form condition. Composed. It means its form tends to condition, tends to composition. They have been conditioned. And the passive one, in the passive situation. The samskara is active. So samskara is conditioning instead of conditioned. And so samskara is active. And samskara is conditioning. And so they have been conditioned by other components, but they are making the condition of other Dharma. When they conditioning, they help other Dharma to be formed. Okay? So every Dharma, everything are every Dharma, everything is conditioned by many other components, but they are helping other Dharma to be composed. Like the raindrop is made by, raindrop is a conditioned Dharma because it's conditioned by vapor, by cloud, by the cold air. But the raindrop is a conditioned things, but the raindrop is conditioning the flower, because without the raindrop the flower cannot be there. So it's easy, huh? The raindrop is made by vapor, by cold air, but that is, they are conditioned things, but they are trying to compose the flower to be a flower, so they are composing the flower. So the raindrop is a condition, samskrita condition made by vapor, cold air, but they are also samskara because they are making the flower to be, the tree to be, the grass to be. So they are conditioning to the grass, to the trees, to the flower. And so they are in the same time samskrita and samskara. And in the Chinese way, they translate condition things by hữu vi. And then, dear Bhikkhu, there are things have been conditioned, but helping other things to be conditioning.
There are things that are conditioned and that help condition other things.
Help conditioning other things, yeah.
Hữu sinh là có cái sự sinh ra.
There is something to be born.
There is the arising.
So to be born is arising, manifesting, becoming. Something that is born, something that is arise, something which is manifesting. So something was have been born. Is something which is already there, exist.
Cái này là being đó.
Being, existence, being.
Monks, there is a arising.
There is arising, being, acting, and composing.
Tức là trên cái bình diện gọi là.
So on the historical dimension, there is something which is born, something die, something exists, something doesn't exist. There are birth, there is existence, there is no existence. That is in the historical dimension. So something which is acting, actor.
Acting nó có hai cái, một là cái actor.
Acting. These two parts. There is the actor.
Và cái action.
And the action. Thay asked, the opposite of arising is what? Disappearing or hiding? There is something is born, something is exist, there is something is acting, and there is a composed thing, composed Dharma.
Cái này là cái hành, còn cái này là cái tánh, còn cái này là cái hương.
So here write the word Chinese
này có
equivalent.
nhiều ở trên đời có
Acting.
cái sanh và cái diệt, nhưng mà không có để cái diệt này.
There is something is born, but it's also death, but he didn't put that.
Cái có và có
There
cái
is
không có để cái không này.
exists, but it's do not put non-exist.
Có cái tác,
There is something
có cái hành
acting.
động, có người hành động.
There is the actor and the one who act. Actor. O-R. At the end, actor.
Đúng chưa?
I don't know if this correct or not.
Và có cái action.
And
Cái
action.
này gọi là tác giả, cái này là tác nghiệp.
And then actor is the subject and action is the work.
Có chữ đầy đủ hết. Cái hành động của mình gọi là tác nghiệp.
Your action
Người làm gọi là tác giả.
and the one who acted is actor.
Có cái người uống và có cái hành động uống.
The one who drink and the action of drinking. The one who drink is actor and action of drinking.
Có cái năng hành.
There is năng hành and năng is subject and sha is object.
Và cái năng hành.
Năng is a subject and sha is object.
There is the conditioned and there is the conditioning.
There is the conditions with S and the condition ED at the end things.
Thì trên bình diện,
on the level of historical dimension, you can see that there is phenomena, birth, death, existence, non-existence. There is actor, there is action, there is subject of action, object of action, and they are coming together, the condition. I must be sure that you understand everything before I continue. Have you see that? It's so easy. And then, however, they didn't put the word however, but however, or but there is also the no birth, no becoming, no action, and no formation. So it means that there is another dimension called ultimate dimension. That ultimate dimension, sometimes they call the space outside of space. It means it's the same space, but when you are free, you are not caught by that notion, and then you are in the same space, but you are outside space. You are in the ultimate dimension. The ultimate dimension is not when you die. The ultimate dimension is here and now. When you look deeper and you touch the interbeing of everything. So when you look deeper and you see the interbeing of everything is just becoming and disappearing, but they are one. They are just condition and no longer your problem. And that sentence is very important because have been excerpted from the sutra, also Dhammapada, but is from Chinese text. And so from Chinese Tripitaka there is that Dhammapada, but doesn't exist in the Pali. And And so Dhammapada that you used to have that have been translated from Pali. And in the Pali text, Iyapa, there is no chapter about Nirvana. But in the Chinese text, there is more chapter, and there is one chapter about Nirvana, about extinction of all the notion. And so and in the Pali text there is, in the Pali text he has this sentence. So you have learned 2 years ago that sutra. So in the Pali text you also see that sentence, and thanks to that sentence we know that the Chinese text is correct. The two main sutra in Pali, there is that, and there is a sutra Udana. There is this sentence. Udana means without any people to ask any question, but the Buddha just give a talk. Udana is just giving a talk without being a request. So vô vấn tự thiết, it means no question but there are answers. And in that sutra in Pali, there is this sentence. And that is why in the Chinese Tripitaka, we see that they do not invent this. Maybe they elaborate more. So in other texts, Udana is no question, there is answer. But Itikatana is vô thị ngữ. It's another sutra where we can find this sentence. And this sentence is very important, it's proof that is true teaching of the Buddha. We can find in two set of translation. And so if you speak about Nirvana but you don't know this sentence and you make a very big mistake, you think that Nirvana is eternal death, which is not correct. So there is something is born, something is exists, something action, but there is also no birth, no exist, no act, no formation. So there is two sides. They didn't say that something. So there is monk there is in the world, a born, a becoming, an acting, and a composed. But there is also an unborn, unbecoming, non-acting, and non-composing. Not such a thing. And so if there is not the second sentence, you think that life is to just escape all these things and you arrive to nihilism. So that is very important sentence, the second sentence. And that have been written about the third century after Christ. And at that moment there is Thanh Hoi in Nam Kinh. Thanh Hoi is a patriarch coming from Vietnam to China and set up the first temple in Nam Kinh in China. So there is Thanh Hoi have seen that sutra. There is no birth, no exist, no becoming, no composing. So thanks to that sentence, we know that the look of the vision of the Buddha about ultimate dimension is very clear. If we say that the Buddha do not speak about ultimate dimension because a number of scholars of Theravada, Pali Canon said that the Buddha do not speak about the world of noumena. The Buddha only spoke about the world of phenomena. So the Buddha did say both phenomena and noumena. Noumena is the unconditioned, the ultimate dimension. That is why in the historical dimension there is you, me, her, bad, good, but in the ultimate dimension there is no birth, no death, no coming. And the third one, the second part is không thác, không hành, no acting, no formation. So if we see like that, we can speak about the 12 link more correctly. Because so far until now, the last few weeks, for those who you just arrived, the last few weeks I mentioned about the 12 link, only explaining the historical dimension is only like when you go at the end and then there is no more existence. So that is... and so, in the Sutra of Katyayana Sutta, it spoke so clearly, right view, right insight, right wisdom is the view which transcends the notion of existence and no existence. That is the ultimate truth. When you transcend the existence and non-existence, you transcend also the notion of birth and death. Because birth means from nothing you become something, and death from something you become nothing. No, you can touch the ultimate dimension. He never dies, she never dies. He's here in this present moment, but you don't see it. And so you transcend no birth, no death. But it doesn't mean that you come to become nothingness, nihilism, no. You are here, but you see the no birth, no death, like a wave jumping, disappear, jumping. So, acting, there is include actor and act, the acting. So when you say something, we need to have an actor and acting. And like you said that God created the world. So we need to have God, which is a person or something who creates, and then the creation and creature. So the creator, God is the creator, and the acting is creating, and the creature, the object of creation. So when you say like that, there is an actor, creating, and creature. And but according to the wisdom of the Buddha, the actor cannot exist outside of the action. According to the wisdom of the Buddha, it's very deep. If you can understand, and then you can overcome the wrong view about self. Like in Plum Village, we used to use the illustration like it's rain. If we use rain is an action. We need to have a creator, the sky. So in English we translate by it rains. It is the actor. Rain is action. That's right. But if you look deeper, you don't need to word it.
There is no rain outside.
You see rain, and then in rain there is the actor and the action. Because if no rain, there is no drop falling from the sky. And so if you say that it rain, Vietnamese way to say that mưa, it means rain, rơi is falling. And it's a way of people not thinking. In Vietnamese we call trời, trời means sky. Mưa is rain, the sky rain. And the sky is the actor, and rain is the action. And in English we call it rain. We always are conditioned to must have an actor in order to have an action. That's right. It must have somebody actor, and then you cannot have an action. It's the way, conventional way of thinking. It's rain is not enough. We must say it rain. And if we say mưa, it's not enough. We have to say trời mưa. It means trời is the sky. But without rain, without the... And so rain cannot rain by itself. But in fact, rain do not need a rain condition. There is vapor, there is cold air, there is condition who make the cold air, the vapor to become that drop of rain. Do not need a man who make that action rain. So it will be the actor and rain is the action. Because our way of thinking is always we need an actor in order to have an action. That's right. But it's funny. If rain you don't need to have somebody who make it rain. Vapor and cold air will make it rain. And we need an actor, and action is not necessary. Cold air, vapor make rain. So there is no rainer. It's rain, but no rainer. Rain is falling. Rain do not have to fall.
It is not falling. It's not rain.
It's not falling. It's not rain.
Nếu mưa mà không rơi thì nó đâu phải mưa, nó là mây hay là cái gì đó.
If they float,
như vậy là sự phân biệt của mình.
And it's they are cloud. But if they fall down, it's rain. So when I make the 10 mindful movement, I do not know exerciser. Only the exercise, no exerciser. There are thoughts, there is no thinker.
There is the thinking, there is no thinker.
There is the thinking.
There is no rainer.
It's no thinker. There is rain, no rainer. The wind blow too. Wind is yaw. Blow is action. The wind is actor. And we don't need the word blow. Because if the wind is naturally blow, if it doesn't blow, we cannot call it wind. Change the battery. Này. Can you imagine that there is a wind and somebody is blowing behind the wind? There's a blower behind the wind and blow. No, you don't need a blower.
We only need the wind. You don't need a blower outside.
You need a wind. We don't need a blower behind the wind. Our mind of trying to think that this must have an actor. So we have to learn that chapter of Nagashuna. He is mentioned about the actor and acting. We are studying the chapter 13. That's right? 15. Này giống cái kinh mình có cái dòng xương cốt vậy.
Mình có một cái phần nói về tác và tác giả. Có chứ.
Đâu có 13.
Dạ không, thầy nói lại 15.
Còn đâu có 15. Tới 9 là hết rồi.
Có.
15 là cái này, 15.
Mình có.
We have the sutra
Thứ 8 là nói về tác và tác giả.
number 8. The Gatha number 8 who speak about object and about the author and the acting and object of mind. During the Gatha, which ultimate truth of Asanga, there is this Gatha, các hành on the action, sát năng diệt. When there is formation, there is changing.
Cái sinh thái của chúng là dụng mà cái làm.
từ từ mà.
chư hành gia sát na.
On the formation
trú thở vô hướng lượng. Tức thức bị sanh khởi. Cái này chúng ta học rồi đó.
this yata you already learned.
Ghi nhận với tác giả. Đây là cái bài kệ thứ
This is the Gatha number 5.
trong tác phẩm mà những bài kệ thánh giả tức là trong du già sư đề.
The Gatha number 5
Tiếng Anh
is
là
about the sutra.
all the formations
On the
are
formation
born
are
and die
born and
in every
die in every moment. On the formation are born and died in every moment. Their existence,
their dwelling
their dwelling
is not
is not possible.
No all conditions undergo birth and death at every instant.
On condition
All conditions
subject to birth and death at
birth and death.
at every moment.
Their abiding
They are
is
abiding
not something real,
to not something
much
real,
less their action.
much less than their action.
Các hiện tượng
On the phenomena
sát na
born and die every second,
còn không thể có, huống hồ là cái công việc của nó.
their existence is not really exist.
All conditions undergo birth and death at every instant. Their abiding is not something real, much less
It's not real, so much less the action.
cái sinh khởi của chúng là điều
The action is not real, and so not much the action. They all arising
is the action itself. It
is the action itself. So they arise by itself. Is that the action? It means that actor and action are one. So all the phenomena, they are born, die, changing every chatna, the shortest period of time. And so their birth and their death
cũng là công dụng.
is very short. And so of course, their so we must say that their manifestation is their acting, and is also the actor and the acting. So you cannot find the actor outside of the action. So when you look deep about non-action, about aimlessness, and you find out that there is no self, no separate self, there is a thinking, no thinker, there is arising, no ariser, no one is born, nothing, no one who is dying. There is birth and death, but there is no one being born and no one to die. When the person breathe their last breath, and they see that if she or he can say that no one is dying, it will be very profound. If at the last breath, nhẹ nhẹ đó. No, there is a breathing which taking place, but no breather. There is no walker. There is a walking, but no walker. So there is a breathing, but no breather. It's our practice. It's our practice. You have to train yourself. That is the walking which is taking place. So in the historical dimension, you see that there is a thinker and a think. There is action, actor and action. But in the ultimate dimension, there is no actor, but there is only action. And all the action are empty of a separate self. Empty of a separate self. It means just one shatna before you are dead, one shatna after you are already different, one shatna after you are already different. So there is no true nature. They have no own nature. All the action have no self, no true nature, no self nature, no own nature. That is very easy to understand. Like the flower is a formation. It means made with rain, water, sunshine, earth. And so we look at the flower, we see many elements which is not flower. Like the rain is not flower, the earth is not flower. So rain, sunshine is not flower, but they are conditions who come together to make a flower. So flower have no own nature. It depends entirely on the non-flower element. So the flower have no self-nature, no original water, no self-nature. You too. So in the non-action, you see the teaching of emptiness is very clear. Emptiness, it means the emptiness of a separate self, but it's full of everything. So empty of a self-nature is the teaching of Shunyata. Shunyata is emptiness, the teaching of emptiness. And the two traditions, Theravada as well as Mahayana, Sarvastika Vada, they don't, Theravada and Sarvastivada, they don't elaborate, explore that practice much. So Sarvastivada and Theravada, they do not explore enough about that. The Buddha have a very good student, can be considered like his right hand, his right arm. He organized the teaching, the exploration of the teaching, and spread the Dharma everywhere. This person have trained young monastic, monk as well as nun. He is the big brother of the Sangha. His name is Shariputra. And that person
tưởng tới Bụt,
brought a lot of
và người đó đã đưa ra
audience to
những
the
cái
Buddha,
giáo lý nào của Bụt để
and
truyền phổ với lại quần chúng trong thời đại đó.
he knew how to give
Và người đó đã
which
chọn
teaching which is
giáo lý
appropriate
của Ngài
to that audience. He chose a number
để
of
đưa ra
teaching of the Buddha in order to give to appropriate audience. And then he also gave the teaching appropriate for the monk and the nun and for lay people and so on. So the teaching of the Buddha, the number of teaching of the Buddha is in the front line, and in another teaching in the background, but that teaching in the background is not enough explored. And the influence of Shariputra lasts many centuries, about 15-20 generations of monastic practitioners under the Buddha lineage. And the two schools which receive a lot of influence of Shariputra, of the deep look of Shariputra, are Thượng Tọa Bộ Theravada and Hữu Độ is Sarvastivada. That teaching of the Buddha emphasize on two things: no self, and there is no
own nature.
No own nature, own, O-W-N, no own nature. And one is Atma, and then the second one is Dharma. And they are all empty of a separate self. And so the teaching of the Buddha have two parts: no self, and there's no Dharma. It means Dharma is not like a reality, not a separate self, but they are the coming of many conditions, and the coming of all the conditions are also very changing too. So people pulling, and so Shariputra taught more about the no self, but not much about no Dharma. And so Sarvastivada, so they said that everything exists, all exist. Sarva, so they call Sarva. Sarva is all. Vasti, things exist. All things exist. Sarvastivada, that is a school. Vada is a tradition. A tradition, a school. Sarva is all, and Asti is things. All things exist. Is that the school which promote that everything exists? And they believe that everything, the things in the past, in the present, in the future exist. But they don't have a separate self. And Sarvastivada is very powerful, very spreading a lot in the east, north of east. And they are very powerful. They are not supported by Ashoka king, but they went to up north of India, and they last for 1,000 years, and they spread to China, they spread to Tibet, and so on. So they are, but the tradition who have the appreciation of Asoka, the king, and then they go to other direction. So in the time of Shariputra, there are a number of people we call Shariputra period. It doesn't mean that he's still alive, but and then number of people disagree. They don't put emphasize too much on the no self, but they don't emphasize on the no Dharma. And so after the passing away of the Shariputra for 300 years, there is the foundation of some new school, and one school called Sautantrika, and then one is from Mahayana Sutra. So the Mahayana Sutra, who appeared before Jesus Christ 1 century, they emphasize a lot about the no, about emptiness more. So the old tradition of wisdom emphasize about non-self, but the new tradition of Mahayanism, they emphasize on and so they emphasize on emptiness. When the Buddha said that there's no separate self, but also emptiness. So Sarvastivada only emphasize on non-self, but don't pay attention to emptiness. While the Mahayana emphasize on emptiness. And so in Theravada, the teaching on emptiness is not very explored. And so because they don't explore, and so they say that independent the new one is so the Mahayana, the new school called emphasize on emptiness. But without Shariputra, Buddhism will not be a big congregation, solid. Like without Asuka, Buddhism cannot go outside of the border of India in order to become a great spiritual tradition in the globe, in the earth, on earth. And so for me, two founder of Buddhism is Shariputra and the King Asoka. And so Nagarjuna emphasized a lot of emptiness, so completing the Shaktivasivada school. And so Nagarjuna emphasized on that and complete the teaching of Shariputra. The Bodhisattva, looking deeply, have seen that on the self-nature, or on the five skandhas have no self-nature. Is to restore the teaching of emptiness in the Sarvastivada. When you hear like that, in order to do what? In order to renew the 12 link. The 12 links still continue because the 12 link you have learned many weeks earlier they only explain the Vedantism and Brahmanism, but it's not real teaching of the Buddha. The way the way that we discover that is only we don't need 12 link, we only need 5 or 8, and we continue to explore more, and we restore the 12 link according to the real intimate wish of the Buddha, because there is some lost. So like a woman who sent a son to Plum Village and asked Sister Chan Khong for him to buy the book or Path White Cloud. But when he hear, and then Sister Chan Khong, my mom want to buy a T-shirt, a white T-shirt, and then Sister Chan Khong give the old Path White Cloud, and going home the mother is very happy, but the son did say that my mom want to buy a white T-shirt book written by Sư Ông. So there is a mistransmission. So we have to be intelligent in order to restore the true meaning of the Buddha. So I think that you understand it. Do you need to do it in English next time? No, I translate okay.